Alright, so I have a sad story to tell you. Maddie, I don't know what we're doing on our Chromebook, but that was a subtle hint to you to put your Chromebook away. And now if you don't have the worksheets that we need to have, then I'll be real sad. So, yeah, I know. I think somebody burned something in a microwave or something. Like, it's in the office for sure. And then it's like traveling through the school, like in the HVAC. It does smell kind of weird. All I had for lunch is an apple, so it's not my fault.
It's not mine either.
So, very, very disappointing. So you guys probably know about like Match.com. My brother actually met his wife on Match.com. They now have a child, and like the different dating apps. But it's really unfortunate because the most recent match that happened was between two parallel lines, but unfortunately, they'll never meet. So, yes.
He is utterly wrong.
About?
What? The fact about his opinions on Dobby.
Who's Dobby? Max, moving on.
Did you tell my joke on Friday, or did you not?
Which, no, I probably forgot. You want to go ahead and tell it?
Oh, yeah. What composer got sick?
Do not. No one.
Tchaikovsky.
Now, it's only funny if they know that Tchaikovsky is a very famous composer. So you have to be in a crowd of music people for it to be really funny. But like Max actually got a slow clap from me when he told me that. Like I just hung my head and just slow clapped. But all right, we got some math to do. So the first thing I want to do, hey, before we dive into chapter 9, which I like to show you guys what's happening. Hey, if you're talking right now, you're going too far. We've been in class for like 10 minutes now. 9-1 is its own section. It is 4 days long. Obviously, we won't get done this week. 9-2 is a bit longer. And as you guys know, we are not in school next Thursday, Friday, assuming that you are mastered. So, we are not going to get chapter 9 done like anytime soon because then we have a 5-day weekend. So my thought that I discussed with a few of you is let's push the chapter 8 test at least until next week. You guys have had enough to do with mastery deadline and everything else. So let's just wait for chapter 8 until next week. If you're heartbroken, come see me. I can pop quiz you some questions, I guess, if you want. But, no, not now. That's why we played the closure yesterday, and some of you did not know what you were doing on some of those problems, which made me very aware that we should go over these answers. So get out your Chapter 8 closure. If you already turned it in, I'm about to give it back to you, because even if you already turned it in, there is for sure... Oh, you turned it in today. I guess, yeah. It's up there.
Perry Phoenix Accord will have practice inside at your neighborhood building space for the whole side. For the Cardinals track, it sounds like they will not begin practices until March 8th. Thank you.
So we can thank Aiden's mom for that announcement because she texted it to me and made sure that we're all aware, but Aiden just ran away. Oh, you're right there. So we appreciate when your parents make sure like that we know what's going on, especially because you guys, you athletes especially, have some different situations. You got to go over to other schools and stuff. So yeah, track. Hopefully you heard that announcement. If not, check with me after class. So in the closure, keep your closure out. If it's not out, you should get it out. Because a lot of you didn't turn it in. A lot of you did not turn the closure in yet, which is okay, but I need to see it. Some of our teams yesterday were arguing about these answers, which is good. Like, some discourse is good. But if we don't know what we're doing, that's not good. So in 136, I guess I can zoom out a little bit. This is not in the PDF because the closure is not in like the PDF answer key. Any questions in 136? If you did 137 wrong, I want you to try to redo it on your own before you come see me. We are continuing to have some compound interest difficulties. Like, I mean, I can do that problem right now for us if we want. It comes down to, did you change the rate to the decimal form of rate?
Can I do it?
Did you use the right exponent? Did you do the order of operations correctly?
Do you think we could do like a thing where we can teach again?
Maybe after a couple days. Like, I gotta get some Chapter 9 groundwork laid because we're actually gonna run out of days. We take your Math 8 Ohio State test starting on April 20th. It's a 2-day test, so it'll be the 20th and the 21st. So I have like a month and a half left to teach you like 3 more chapters. So we are starting to kind of like need to use our days wisely. So probably not today because we're starting brand new content. But once you feel good, maybe if you worked ahead on homework, if you come meet with me ahead of time, I'd be happy to say like, all right, you can teach this problem to the class. You can teach that one. But we probably won't do it very like randomly like we did that one day until we get some more confidence. Once we're confident with this stuff, then absolutely we can just kind of call people up randomly and give you the opportunity to teach it. Questions on any of this? Jake?
How many zeros are in the last one on the bottom stand?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we actually did that right at the end of class yesterday where we were running out of time and I said, all right, after the decimal place, how many zeros? And you all yelled 5 and it was great.
Oh, I want to make sure, because like, I just am blind. I can't.
We did negative 17/3 as a class problem yesterday. In 140. We did that one. That's find X, find Y, the scale factor, I believe.
Oh, for the scale factor, I got
1.75. Yeah, that's the decimal form of that scale factor, but that is correct.
So could we do
Fractions are better, but sure, that decimal does count.
1.75.
1.75 is the decimal form of that better fraction. Oh, the other thing that your mom said was they appreciated my 50-cent joke.
What's the
Oh.
50 cent?
About after 2 quarters, it made sense that we got 50 cents at the halftime show.
Oh my god.
Our positive association on that graph. Now,
He made it up.
this, I believe, I put on your paper. So really, we're just drawing a line trying to match points on top, points on bottom, and get in the middle of there. $4.80. Slide the triangle left 1 unit would be the final step. Please make sure you read the setup of those problems. I had somebody come ask me for help, and then I was like, did you read what we're doing? And then they read the problem. They're like, oh, never mind. So if you don't read the setup, that was asking you, like, what's the final step they need to do to get the triangle to the endpoint? Brenda.
I have a quick question. So for scientific notation, is it less than 10 and greater than 1? Can it be 1 and can it be 10?
It has to have a single digit on the left side of the decimal.
Got it. So it can't be 10.
So that single digit could be 1, that single digit could be 9. The amount of digits on the right side of the decimal all come down to what are our significant digits or figures. And that you'll learn more about through science, of how far do we care for accuracy.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Even NASA only uses 14 places of pi. At a certain point, you're just more accurate than you need to be.
on. This doesn't matter, but on 919, the example from class is on the back.
I eat the whole pie.
What are you talking about?
I always eat the whole pie.
This is C back of paper.
Well, no. So what the CVAC paper references is this is like the math notes boxes they give you. So that's why I put that there so you have reference for it. You guys might, now that I've done that wedding and had those nerdy vows and everything, you might remember me talking about complementary angles from that wedding ceremony. Because Brett and Veronica are complementary to each other. When they're together, everything is right. So that is a way that you can remember that when you are complementary with somebody or something, it makes a right angle. Supplementary, the only memory trick I really have for that is you take supplements to get bigger. Like if we think about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, my friends on their podcast were talking about him because they were speculating. This was like a month ago. They recorded. They were speculating like the next movie that The Rock was going to be in because they hadn't like told us yet. I think we know now, right? Yeah. So something about video games or whatever. But like if you think about Dwayne Johnson's like shoulders or his arms, he probably kind of is like one of those guys that walks around like too much muscle. I don't know, straight like 180 degrees. I don't have a good way to remember supplementary is 180. But you take supplements to get bigger. I don't know about him, but I mean supplements are just like vitamins. I'm not talking about steroids. That's different. A supplement is like anything that you add to your diet.
Have you seen Rocky?
Have I seen Rocky?
Yeah, like
I mean, one of the most classic movies that exists that then they made like 5 of.
Yeah.
Adrian! Alright, moving on.
I've only seen
Rocky's my dog.
Notice, your paper says this is your practice work, so you can go ahead and put your name on it, and then put it away.
Okay. Wait, can we turn in the 8 closure now?
If it's done, sure.
What do you say?
It's back in the bin. It's almost like I can remember putting it.
If you are just making noises, I chose not to teach elementary for that reason. I do not need to explain to you what is appropriate classroom behavior. Please refocus.
What?
So, as I walk around, I should not see you trying to get tonight's homework done. That's what you do later today. We should have the resource page out. And guys, notice the back of this is 913. You're gonna have to not lose this. I do not make one-sided copies. This hurts my heart. I then take it to the copy machine and double-side it to save paper. I do not do one-sided copies.
Well, except for your teacher's copies.
See, I can't get that printer to work right for me. I need somebody smarter than me to come fix it.
Oh, I can do it.
All right, on your graph paper, 911. Don't worry, there's no emergency.
I was about to say my emergency.
I have the. I'll have to say that.
There is this person staring at me his glass in my last week. His mask. He sees his left down, he has blonde hair, crusty crabs.
Hey, Jay, you ready to do some math?
Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering how long you were going to string that on, because I don't know that anyone was finding it funny.
You said it's a juxtaposition.
Okay, see, I just wanted you to look at it again.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's what I did wrong.
Yeah. You said it was a trick, but it's still
9.1.1.
He said he did murder time.
Yeah.
His own.
That's what the paper says.
Now, here's what I find funny about when we write parallel lines.
Yeah, I know. Unless you don't have good
There are
paper.
parallel lines in the word parallel.
Unless you have bad handwriting.
That's how I remember. how to spell it.
Yes, unless a lot of things. Thank you, 8th graders. I know you're only 7th graders, but I really look at you as 8th graders. So, let's review some notation. Hey, this is why I wanted us to take a moment at the beginning of class. Do I need to turn off the lights and we literally take a moment, or can we refocus and just have class for the next 20 minutes? So, and the quicker we get through this, I only plan on getting through this lesson. We can get through it and then work on your homework, most likely, unless I keep having to wait. So, you might know this, but if not, we need to make note of it. When you have 2 lines that extend out, they have end arrows showing you they're not segments, they're lines, right? A segment would have end points. Lines have arrows that say it continues. What's in between a segment and a line? Sure, give it a shot. Or I'm calling on Spencer. Spencer? Array. So if you have one endpoint and one arrow on the end, that's array. But when we talk about lines being parallel, so on your graph paper, I probably should have just clicked new page. Draw two lines as straight as you can, and if you're using graph paper, it shouldn't be that bad. And we are going to put arrows in the middle. If we call this line A and this line B, those of you that are talking, I'm sure you don't know what I'm about to say, so stop. We would write this. A parallel to B, so literally we just draw two parallel lines in between them. So now as we're going to have to practice, can I draw lines that are like square with each other, parallel with each other? And that means A and B, like those star-crossed lovers, will never meet. Made a joke about two parallel lines met on like Match.com. The sad thing is they'll never meet.
I have a question.
Yes.
Wait, they met.
Where does B live? I might be interested.
A probably lives in Ohio and B lives in Michigan, so you know it's just.
Oh!
Screw me. Well, what's wrong with Michigan?
Toronto.
Well, you know what's halfway between? Have you ever heard of Dayton, Ohio?
Yeah?
Have you ever heard of Marion, Ohio? It's just up. It's just below. You know where Delaware is? Nobody knows anything, do you?
I know who Delaware is.
Geography's tough.
Marion's just not that far from here, a half hour, maybe a little bit past Delaware. Delaware is also a state, but it's a city in Ohio. It sits above Worthington.
Just wait.
Delaware just sits above Worthington, and Marion sits above Delaware.
Just wait, Max. Wait for it.
There's Desire stuff.
Wait for it.
And Dayton, Ohio is the other way near Cincinnati. Do you know what's halfway between Dayton, Ohio, and Marion?
No.
Kids.
No.
Maybe.
No.
What? You want me to say the punchline?
No. I
Engage,
have two arms.
engagement, Ohio. Halfway between Dayton and Marion
Yeah.
is
Oh my
engagement.
God.
Don't worry, you get a whole nother year of bad jokes. Alright, so A and B will never meet. It's very, very sad situation. Like the lines on the street, like railroad tracks, right? If they are parallel forever, they will never meet. Alternatively, and guys, I didn't realize that some of you didn't know this. The other symbol that we definitely need to know, and I'm going to cheat. If you're talking at the same time as me, you're just being disrespectful. We're not going to do anything about it because we're at Phoenix. But I am going to go home and be upset and tell my wife my kids don't respect me like they used to. This
your favorite child
means perpendicular.
It also means a right angle.
No, I'm right.
Perpendicular means they meet at, you can say it again, they meet at 90 degrees.
You can never not
Got
show
that
his
in
president.
You just said that the lines met on that thing, and you said they'll never meet, but they already met.
Well, they matched. Sorry, I meant to say they matched on the dating website. My bad. I delivered it wrong. My apologies.
Is this also from like your page that you read off jokes from, or did you just make that up?
Oh, that's a pretty old, like, parallel line joke. Like, parallel lines have so much in common. The shame is that they'll never meet. Is really the original. So, the thing about perpendicular lines, they normally are pretty, like, you know, gross and sweaty and maybe a little smelly, because it's always 90 degrees.
It's just are you a bit more infuriating than normal today?
Mr. Hudson indicated.
Take a run through the tunnel.
I didn't even see where it
All right. Yeah, you thought you were safe, didn't you? You thought you were safe. All right, so. So here's the deal. When you have two parallel lines, now I actually need you to listen because I bet you don't know this. When we throw a line across the two parallel lines, and regardless of if it's perpendicular or not, that line has a special name. This is called transversal.
Transversal. I knew it.
You 100% did. You said it before me. I am so happy you're here.
I know.
Otherwise, I don't know how I would get through class.
Probably.
So, there are some interesting relationships when we have transversals crossing parallel lines. I want you to look at the resource page that you picked up from up front. If you didn't pick it up, you should. And start chatting with your team about what other parts of those diagrams you could figure out.
So it's just like a very
Gust, we're not in percussion class. Label your degrees on these angles as you figure them out.
Yeah. Yeah, C.
Oh wow, this is weird.
Now, some people are tempted to say when the lines aren't parallel, that there is no special relationship. And that's not true. There is still a couple special relationships. So, can anyone tell me here before we move on to your resource page, so we're going to talk about a lot of special relationships when we have parallel lines with a transversal. But what special relationship? You want to tell us? Well, you're talking. Max?
When they both like online games, they can play together.
I don't know if I just don't get that joke or what, but moving on. Jake?
They will meet.
Okay, so X and Y would meet, but I should have asked this question better. If we're looking at these angles, like EF and GH, those are angles.
Oh,
right?
G and H will be the same thing, same angle, and E and F will be different. Or maybe it's the opposite. I think it's the opposite.
So not necessarily. That would have to be a very special way of crossing. It could happen. So I'm not saying no. It could happen, but not always. What always happens is what we want to establish here.
When you've got like the F shape, like E, if there was another letter opposite of E on the other side of those lines, it'd be the same angle in degrees.
So if there was another angle over here, you're saying it would be the same, but it doesn't have anything to do with down here.
Oh, it does. It's the, it would be H. E would be H. I don't even know where that is.
It's not on your paper for good reason. You should be looking up here right now. E would not be the same as any of these because the lines are not parallel and they're not equal to each other, Jake. Jake. These would only be equal if they were perpendicular and could both be 90. But what relationship does E have with F?
It would equal.
Anna? Anna what? Anna? They are supplementary because any two angles that make a straight line will add up to be 1/8. So if we look at 9-2, that's going to start to let us fill in the things we don't know. I should probably pull some cards out. So Max K, did your group get to figuring out what B is?
Well, I did, and it's 73 degrees.
Max is like, I don't know about them, but I got it.
Yeah, they're dumb.
Don't do that. Oh no, balls.
So, wait, so it's not, hey, you should be labeling this on your paper. It's not an indicated angle, but I forget if it was Patrick or Connor who said it, but then also opposite that angle up here would be 73 degrees because it's also supplementary. This is why, and if you want to write down the vocab, vertical angles happen. Vertical angles are because both of them are supplementary to the same angle. Which then, whether we do the math or just look at it, angle C, Max, right? What would angle C be?
Angle C would be 107.
107.
Oh yeah, I got that right.
Wait, 107 dogs, cats, pizzas?
Degrees.
Degrees.
3 Celsius.
So yeah, different than temperature, right? These degrees are angle of opening. Hey, gents. Patrick. You all right?
Yeah.
Or are you just trying to use this calculator to solve something? Because you looked like you were just goofing. So, to that point, a lot of times we can forget about the 100, right? Because if I come over here and start looking, I know I need to go back there, but if I come over here and start looking at this guy, if I know we're going to add up to 180, and I know I already have 152, you can really just do 80 minus 52. What's that get us? 28. So F would be 28 degrees. We've got another vertical pair here. So we've got 28 in here as well. Go ahead and go for a couple minutes. Try to fill in as much of this worksheet as you can.
The entire worksheet? Oh my god!
I mean, you probably can. You what? Sweet. Like, I mean, you can do all more problems you want. Hey, Jen, stop it. You're better than this. Quit making noises. I mean, as a reminder, this is recorded. I'm real tempted to just send it to parents and say, just so you know, this is the classroom behavior we're getting. Never. Nah, because that's for a different class. Now, if you get real motivated, you can at some other time. But right now, if you're done with this whole resource page, you could do a homework problem if you want. I'm honestly not.
How can you find M and K in figure 2? Or M and C?
Wow.
What? Sorry. Which? I'm lost. What figure are you talking about and what angle are you asking
Any of
about?
them, it says M, P, Q, or W.
Where? For figure one. Oh, those are the line names. Yo, so bad on me. I forgot to say this. Especially with textbooks or state tests, they will have a letter naming the line. So this is line M, line P, line Q, line M, line P, line Q, line M, line P, line Q. They're not variables. They're line names. And they're sad because they will never meet each other. Aiden?
Are the other letters bolded to say this tells the name of a line and this is the angle, or you just
Yeah, I mean, there's no real good indication of the angle names are in the angle, right? The line names are normally out at the ends of the line. Jordan? Six. You're way ahead of me, bro. We gotta finish up 9 too. I mean, what? You're just really. It's not even on the screen. I'll come back to you if that's okay. Do you want to help me with these, or y'all heated up my room with all your excitement? I feel like you came in here from foundations, and you're like, bruh. All right, something weird I noticed, and by weird I mean like really convenient. There's an interesting relationship happening between line Q's angles and line P's angles. Anyone want to like kind of try to put this into words? Evil Brenda? You have like flames coming out of your eyeballs.
Spicy, Brenda.
Okay.
No.
Caliente. Brenda de Caliente? It's alright, so do I.
So P and Q from figure 2, correct?
Sure. Actually, all of them, but we've got most of those angles filled in.
Okay. Then they have the same degrees for their things, but it's so how do I word this?
Top left, if I am
Yeah.
going to help you.
Yeah.
The top left angle is 107.
Yeah, but if you go down to the next angle for D, it's the same thing. Same with the angle across from that.
On your paper. What we call this, and I advised at the beginning of class that you would have highlighters. Grant, you alright, man? This is what we call Is there a reason that some of you just like have to try to finish my sentence when you don't know what I'm going to say? Because like real question, because you're not helping. All you're doing is adding confusion for anyone who doesn't know what's going on, which is most of us. And it doesn't make you look smart. Quite frankly, it's kind of silly and not in a good way. So I beg of you, we're in a brand new chapter. You don't know what I'm teaching, or if you do, come see me. I'll give you a sticker. Quit trying to finish my sentence with words that you know are not correct. And quit encouraging your friends by like, that was funny. No, they're not perpendicular. Unless you don't know what perpendicular is, which is an issue that we should fix. So unless you want me to be concerned and give us more mastery assessments to check, did they understand what perpendicular means? Quit saying the wrong stuff. I'm a math person. It's not funny. It's just wrong. And that's concerning since I care about your education. Stop it. This is what we call corresponding. When they are in the same location, like the top and the left. So we actually have 4 sets of corresponding angles in one of these situations, because then 73 has a corresponding angle right down here, right top right. My angle C, which we figured out is 107, would have a corresponding relationship with this angle down here. And all of this is because, if you can imagine, and you could actually do it with your paper, to fold this to make line P land on top of line Q, it's the exact same intersection. It's like when a street crosses railroad tracks, right? It makes the same angle relationships. So then we actually have more special relationships like that, because somebody pointed out, I highlighted this purple, but actually it's equal to what colored angle that I highlighted? Brenda?
Blue.
It's equal to blue, which we could call vertical angles. But what if I got rid of all of this? These, and guys, this name is not tricky. Are they on this? Are my 2 blue angles on the same side? No. So the first word here is what we call, well, not what we call, it just is alternate interior, because they're on the inside. Actually, those also are equal to each other always. My green angle here, I could highlight my green angle here.
Question?
Yeah.
If the alternate interiors, does that imply alternate exteriors?
That implies, and it is true, the alternate exteriors would also be congruent to each other. You do not have to have any of this vocab mastered, but these are all like shortcuts, not in a bad way, to be able to say, oh, that has to be that, and that has to be that, and these have to be equal, and those have to be 180. Wham, bang, boom. I'm a master at angles. So then, I bet we could fill in all the other stuff from figure 2 and figure 3 by doing a little bit of math. But Jordan had a question about when we move on to 6. See, look, there they give you the corresponding angles vocab, but you don't need to read the whole vocab box. We can just do the thing. Debating what to do with the 3 minutes that I have. There's alternate interior. This we'll probably have to come back to because sake of time. Is it 5 or is it 6?
It's 6.
Yeah.
Because I made this worksheet. So this, if we're gonna like speed round and try to say what special things are happening here, this is actually decent to do. So not on your paper, no pencil needed. What relationship would A and B have? Hold on, let's do like a countdown. So like we'll do class answer. Let's do like 3, 2, 1 answer. Okay, so what relationship exists here? 3, 2, 1.
Supplementary.
Supplementary, right? They would add up to 180. What relationship is here in part B? 3, 2, 1, answer.
Corresponding.
What relationship is here? 3, 2, 1, answer.
Interior.
What about down
Alternate
here?
exterior.
Ooh, they're not alternate.
I know.
So wait, if they're not alternate,
Supplementary.
hey, I have something to tell you.
Word.
They're called same side exterior, which is, as a lot of you said, supplementary, right? So same side exterior would also be supplementary because we can visualize, guys, if we drag this line up and we look at where A is, like A would be right here, right below B, right? It would be supplementary. In E, what relationship? 3, 2, 1, answer.
Exterior. Alternate exterior.
Alternate exterior. So they're equal to each other. In F, what relationship here? None. Because these aren't parallel. Ah, trapdoor. The special relationships only happen if we're parallel. We'll do more of these tomorrow to see if we remember it. Jordan, question.
Okay, on B.
Hey, we're not done yet. I got like 2 minutes left at least.
Okay,
On B,
the 82 degrees is on an opposite angle.
oh yeah, don't trust what things look like. A lot of times these diagram things will look slightly off. That's why I'm not saying get a protractor. I'm saying do the math. Right, so you're right, it looks wrong. You're right, it looks wrong.
I'm right.
You are. You're the max right. So what would F be here? 98, which means my diagram looks wrong, but I trust the math. I don't trust what it looks like. I trust the math. I trust the max. I do trust the max. Hold on. I still have like 90 seconds. Why are binders closed? I forget. We'll go over all the answers to this at the beginning of class tomorrow. How about that? We'll check that you have all of these right, as well as we can look at 911 homework if people really want. It's not due till Friday, but we can check it tomorrow.
Wait, can we
I
do
think you
these?
just set a record for how many bad jokes you made.
I mean, maybe. It was with the help of Mr. Hall, though. I got to give props to the assist.